I got a nice early retirement package from a corporate organization. I was fat and fun and 50. I thought, I don't need to look at anything right now. Why not drink another vodka in the backyard? But I did get a nice email, so I investigated Michigan Shifting Gears. Very frankly, I looked at it and I said, oh no. And I talked to some people and I thought, oh no, a mamby-pamby little organization with kumbaya and a bunch of... I thought, oh my goodness, a bunch of 25-year-olds walking around, tree huggers, and I'm going to walk in the door and they're going to say, ARP meeting next door. But after a while, I got tired, seriously, of submitting 3,412,000 resumes and being told, you're ugly, but we want to tell you you're overqualified because that's legal. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an experience for me that I had never had before. I'm not one of those people that opens up and likes to show my inner self. A lot of you looked right through it. I've learned so very, very much from you. I've learned how to grow and be a person different than what I was on September 12th. I've been fortunate. I have landed, so now I got to go back to work, just like Reggie Reindeer said. What, work? I don't know. I have to put underwear on and look nice.
12 years ago, the millennium changed. And it's been downhill for me ever since. I can remember beginning this new millennium, Y2K. Well, okay, I want to end today by saying Y2K. Okay. I was in an extremely dark place, wondering if insanity was my destiny, because I kept throwing into the big black space of cyber, whatever, my resume. It never landed. The biggest thing I did was carry ending after ending after ending until it became the biggest albatross you could possibly imagine around my neck. And one day, in this classwork that we did, it just left me. And ever since then, I have smiled. And I feel potential. And I feel grateful. And that is the biggest thing this program can do for anybody, is to give them the opportunity to reach and grab what's on the table.
It's very important for me and for all of us to recognize and understand what our strengths are as people. And I came to that realization through 3 different things that I did during the program. And the first was to read the book Strengths Finder and do the assessment that came along with that. The second thing was to ask people who know me well what they respect and admire about me. One of those people was my husband, who's in the room. And he wrote like 2/3 of a page. Bless his heart. And I read it, and it was like he was quoting from that Strengths Finder exercise. It's those strengths that make me stand out and that make me special. And that's what I need to be telling people about. So I would give that same advice to all of you.
Prior to coming Shifting Gear, I had 4 major crises to deal with. 3 of these are the highest stressors there is in life events. And I had all 3 of them. I got divorced. I had an older brother that had passed away after a long illness. I lost my job. I also got into a major car accident that totaled my car. I came across Shifting Gears. It was just God's perfect timing, and it was just the thing I need to motivate me to deal with this situation that I had. Most of all, we were all in the same boat with the same problem. And as I encouraged them, and they encouraged me, I had to do these things, because if I didn't, I would have been hypocritical, and I would have felt real guilty and felt real bad. So you guys have forced me to do these things so that, I'd be true to myself.
Before Shifting Gears, I was recovering from a job layoff as wellness director of a critical access hospital. Had worked there for 14 years. And I was doing some consulting work. The majority of my time was spent in what I call the vortex of the internet search. Spending a lot of time, it wasn't yielding very much. I learned about the program and I enrolled, and I'm very glad I did. You've heard all the wonderful things that the program prepares us for, and it did that for me. And it prepared me to meet my wonderful mentor. She was willing to open up her social capital to me. So I met some of Irma's friends. The next question is, what next? I'm standing here with a very grateful heart to say I'm going to start a full-time job with benefits for my family at the state of Michigan, Department of Community Health and Michigan Public Health Institute, implementing Governor Snyder's 4x4 health and wellness plan. And I thank you very much, and I thank you, Irma, and everyone.
What we started out with, and when I say we, me, my wife, and my family, we were dealing with a situation where you were working in a corporate job, 17 years, boom, it's gone. Someone calls, you can do consulting. Great, not a problem. Did it for 4 years off and on. I'm thinking, this really isn't working well. This course, what I like to say, it has reintroduced us to who we really are. And I think it's a wonderful thing. The person who hired me, he's a 44-year-old genius, and he hired me. And when I went into the door, I said to myself, for 4 interviews, 2 face-to-face, 2 phone calls, and a half a phone call. And I said to myself, this is a mom and pop shop. I can get my arms around this.
In June, I lost my job, and I was in a very reflective state. I thought, geez, how did I get here? And what I realized is that the technical sales environment that I have been in for the last many years had changed. I need to go back, and I need to think about what I loved for so many years, what I loved getting up and going to work to do, and finding my passion for something that I could sell. And I was just very fortunate that I found out about the Shifting Gears program, and it has done for me some really wonderful things. First of all, it gave me the structure that I needed to put in place this journey that I'm on. And it's given me the tools that I need to move forward. But more importantly to me, it has given me a wonderful community of professional friends that I feel I can rely on, and that I hope they know they can rely on me.
This certificate reminds me of last year, 2011. I had a freshly minted degree in one hand and a bunch of resumes in the other. And in 2012, a year later, I still had the freshly minted degree, and I still had the handful of resumes. And one of the first things we learned in Shifting Gears, or I learned, is that everything I have been doing in my job hunt was totally wrong. So I am leaving here knowing how to do it right, and my future is looking very bright.
So how many of you have really strong beliefs? I know I do. After this program, how many of you have really strong beliefs in yourselves? I know I do, right? And I want to remind ourselves, especially our group, of an experience we had of watching a TED Talk that's entitled How Great Leaders Inspire by Simon Sinek, right? My favorite things of all time. He made 2 points that I just hold really, really, really close to my heart. People don't buy what, they buy why. And they buy all of our passions and all of our energy and our beliefs, right? And the second thing he said is you've got to align with people who have the same beliefs, right? Great advice.
I was in the exploration phase of my journey when I joined Shifting Gears. I had left a large company after having been a capital projects manager for several years. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I didn't want to do. I needed to realize once again what made my heart sing. I had been working after I had left the large company, but I still felt like I was on the sidelines and was uncertain because I didn't understand the rules of the game. And through shifting gears, I feel like now I understand the rules. If when it comes down to that it's 3rd and goal and the coach puts me in, I know that I can jump into the game, pick up the ball, and score.
I was in the auto industry for 13 years and was laid off. I had the opportunity to go back to school, so I did that for 2 years. And I graduated in August. And as I was looking for a job, I discovered I have no idea how to look for a job. And I have no idea what job I'm looking for. I found the program was very therapeutic. After not looking for a job for so many years, it gave me the tools that I needed to find a job. It gave me a community and friendships that I'll cherish. Going forward, I know that I'll have a network of friends to help me.
Prior to shifting gears, I was an automotive engineer with the company whose name I won't mention. I'll give you their initials. Has anyone heard GM before? So after relocating from Dallas to Detroit, unemployed, I needed to have a program that was going to give me a direction to actively conduct an effective career search. I realized that sending out resumes while watching SportsCenter wasn't getting it. So shifting gears planted that seed because we have phenomenal speakers, phenomenal internships, phenomenal workshops, phenomenal people, and to bring everything together, the value I took away from it was the relationships we built. This community of people who want to help you take your life to the next level was phenomenal.
In a world that we live in, we're so busy doing, we don't have time to just be. And that's kind of what we got to do here, is just be. I stand here thankful and blessed, and at the same time understand more deeply now what the phrase means when they say, or we say, God has a sense of humor. Sometimes it's in the people. Sometimes it's in the experiences that we have. But I came looking for answers, and instead I got more questions. When you ask what was the best experience, I can't really say what this best experience was because they all worked synergistically together. Too many times in life we look at this as an either-or proposition. And I'd like you to think of this in reframing thoughts. It can be an and.
Before I joined Shifting Gears, I was diligently working with Michigan Works, and I was trying to take advantage of every opportunity I could, and they even assigned me a caseworker, and I just noticed as I was reaching out, no one was reaching back. The main reason I'm here is the email that everybody else got came across my computer, and of course it said Shifting Gears on it, and of course, as some of you know, or most of you know by now, I love shifting gears. So I talked with Rhonda, and we spent numerous hours talking, and she convinced me, and what I really wanted from the program was to learn new opportunities and new ways of adapting to the new working economy. The last thing I want to say, and I truly believe this, is that the tools were given to me a long time ago. What I realized I have to do is pick them up and use them.
So I came to Shifting Gears with a couple of goals in mind. And the first was to participate in career and educational enrichment. The second was to make some connections in a place I otherwise would not have. Pretty simple, right? I'll say that most certainly those objectives have been accomplished, so I'm very pleased with that. When I look at creating a workforce that is more educated, more viable, more astute, more tenacious, more experienced, and by all means having that degree of Midwestern tenacity that we all have in this area, I really see that as the united factor that's going to drive this state forward. and to the degree that this program has helped us all prepare for that and helped us all to present ourselves better to those dynamic needs of organizations in the future, we're grateful for that. So appreciate it very much to everyone involved.
I came to Shifting Gears an unemployed accountant who was trying to hold off despair. Since 2006, I've worked a grand total of a year and a half. Shifting Gears offered me new ideas, new people, and new strategies to find new kinds of job in a new economy. Together, we have listened to sensational guest speakers. We've participated in awful self-image exercises, terrible, and survived a 3-day business simulation that really it tested everything I had. Coming through that, I have found a lot of confidence that I didn't even know was missing. Going forward, I want to look for new jobs in a new way, with new strategies in a new economy.
Around September, my gear shift was rattling, neutral was going, so much energy getting nothing, and I heard this clarion call from someone named Rhonda. My story is a little different in that I wasn't transitioning from a job. I did that a few years ago. I am one of these individuals who, 4 years ago, follow your passion and the money will come. Not. What is valuable about this program is that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And the teachers, the resources, the connections, we all have shifted in a place that I am just honored to be a part of the story of Cohort 12. Thank you.
Here I am. Last May, I lost my academic job. Okay? Very interesting opportunity. But it just ended. The contract was not going to be renewed. I couldn't find the help that I was expecting. All right? In my search, I talked to some folks, some recruiters and stuff like that. Nobody, gave me the hope that, I was going to get what I was expecting. So what I did is I started to look into other opportunities, and I finally remembered there was an email that just came in from this Michigan Shifting Gears. I discovered that, hey, I have no other choice. All right? I'm going to give it a shot. And I did, okay? And I must tell you, the best decision that I made, okay? And I highly recommend it to everyone shifting gears.
Before I joined Shifting Gears, I was doing everything I could to find a job all by myself. So then I heard about Shifting Gears, and there were 3 things that jumped out at me that really struck a chord. Innovate, Michigan economy, sustainable. What I had to do was shift from values that I had taken in from outside, from employers mostly. Here's your job title, here's how much we think you're worth. And begin to understand what it was that I valued. What I've learned is that I am supported. I'm supported by everyone who imagined, developed, built, supported, sustained, and trained everyone who is in each subsequent cohort. I'm supported by the 400 graduates that are now out there in the state of Michigan. 400. And I'm supported by everyone who graduates with me today.
When I joined the Shifting Gears program, I was in the same place as a lot of folks that joined the program. I had some anxiety, I had some self-doubts, a lot of uncertainty about the future, and some lack of faith in what the future held. Got introduced to a lot of folks who were willing to help us find a way to support ourselves and to build a community, both facilitators and guest speakers and so many people who were interested in seeing us succeed going forward, I hope to take that community and that faith and move forward with it and expand on it, and find others who need help finding those signposts or those paths through the woods that lead to that stronger faith in yourself and that faith that we need to go on.
I'm a retired college English professor. I hadn't worked in 4 years. Was in the process of starting a fledgling coaching business, had just finished an intensive coach training program, and my niche is transitions. But I wasn't sure if I knew how to work with people in transition. When I first saw the announcement for Shifting Gears, it came into my email because I'd signed up for Michigan Works, I was really excited because it looked like this was the answer to a long-time desire. But I was on the fringes of the program for at least a year, as Rhonda will verify, maybe even a couple of years. But at the end of the first day, and knowing I still had to commute back to Saginaw, I was so energized. It's like a piece of cake. This is going to be wonderful. And it was. And it was.
I just want to say that I woke up about 6 months ago and realized that I was isolated, unemployed, and had no idea what I was going to do with my future. I came back to Michigan against some advice, reconnected with my family. And a good friend of mine recommended this program to me. I'm happy to say that I feel I've got a direction in life now. I feel connected, and for that I'm very grateful. And thank you all.
My story started in 2007, and I'm a landscape architect, and everybody's work dried up. In the construction and the banking industry wasn't lending money, as you know, at the time. So I went back to school, and I rented my house out, and I moved in with my mother, and I spent 5 years in school. I did not even know how to look for a job because I've always done the same thing. In fact, I continue to be a consultant in my field. So Shifting Gears has provided me with many tools, and more than the tools of resume building and learning how to do LinkedIn. It's my cohorts, my peers that have really been the biggest blessing for me. And I just want to say thank you, and I have a lot of hope and a lot of faith and a lot of caring for you all.
No longer bewildered, no longer spent. I no longer linger in that space without consent. I remember past success without hesitation. Then gears shift toward innovation. I plug in, yearning for camaraderie, and found it here with others on a similar journey. I learned for myself to have compassion and with patience, networking in a purposeful passion. I had fun at Menlo, seeing real collaboration, and hope to see Michigan lead our nation, heal the state, have a clean slate, and announce it's time to celebrate.
I came to Shifting Gears to help me figure out where I really want to go and how I would get there. And I leave the program with many valuable tools that I will use to build a bright future for myself. And I've been enriched by the lessons that I've learned over these past 3 months. But beyond that, I think the best part of Shifting Gears for me has been the connections, the relationships, and the friendships that I have built along the way with the program people, my fellow cohorts, the mock interviewers, the resume reviewers, the internship volunteers, the mentors, including my mentor, John Langford, who is kind enough to be here today. All of these talented, positive, creative, and selfless people have made Shifting Gears a transformational experience that I will forever cherish, and I thank you all.
I stand here today
a very different person than I was in September of this year before joining Shifting Gears. It's a program that has already had a huge impact in my life. In my past life, I had a long and successful career as a medical technologist. And at some point, I looked around and thought, what is a people person doing surrounded by test tubes? It just didn't fit. So I joined Shifting Gears after losing my job. It all has to do with my peers in this group. They validated my gift of insight that I always had and began seeking out my advice and opinion. And what that did for me was to instill a confidence that was always lacking. In the future, I see myself as a passionate advocate and problem solver in the area of senior services, matching needs and solutions to some of the most valuable assets that our nation has, our seniors.
So I found myself as a recently downsized corporate guy, kind of starting over again a little bit later in life than I had hoped to. And I didn't really want to do it on my own. So I joined Shifting Gears, really to meet a lot of other people who were in a similar situation. Not that misery loves company. Well, maybe a little bit of that at the beginning. Throughout the program, we've done, you've heard of all before me here, all kinds of interesting activities, or to use Scott's term, cool activities. Most of which put us in a position that is way outside my comfort zone, such as kind of right now. But it's been all good. But the biggest thing I take away from the program is the fact that a realization that I have way more control over my future than I ever really imagined that I did. And for that, I thank you all. Thank you.
After a long 13-year career with the Department of Corrections, I found myself floundering and struggling for a meaningful career. I didn't know what to do or where to go. I said, God, are you telling me to quit my job? And I did. He said, yes, follow me. And I leaped. I leaped off the biggest cliff I've ever leaped off in my life. What I found was people that wanted to support me, a way to navigate a career transition, and I learned that God was calling me to fund development, hopefully in nonprofit work. But if that path takes me somewhere else, I will follow him. And I'll always be forever grateful that he brought me here with these people, with the talent in this room, and with an unsurmountable amount of compassion.
Through our Shifting Gears experience, I have experienced many things. It includes ambiguity, anxiety, intrigue, impatience, inspiration, insight, camaraderie, dedication, affirmation, and confidence. And above all, thanks to you all, I leave with a bright hope for the future. Thank you.